The existence of giants have been a topic subject to controversy over the years. To an extent, we are all familiar with what giants are. They are all in fiction stories like fairy tales such as the BFG and Jack and the Beanstalk. But what about actual giants? You know, the ones that actually lived on planet Earth. This recent discovery of giants has caused an uproar amongst archaeologists, a discovery that could change what we know about our ancient timeline of events, the people who lived back then, and the technology we thought was used back then, as well as unfolding the mystery behind Graham Hancock's theories about ancient civilization. Join us as we delve deeper into the ancient past, uncovering mysteries that leave scientists with questions. The discovery of giants itself is huge, but one that is well preserved and still showing signs of life despite being buried for ages tells us there is more to ancient past events than what meets the eye. This discovery of the body of the Anunnaki King was completely made by chance, and the mysterious find happened in Kurdistan, Iran. After discovery, the Iranian authorities were selective of information being released to the general public. This grand discovery was made during the foundation of a house, and a mausoleum containing 3 coffins was found. After making more concise excavations, the remains of an ancient civilization and the ruins of a city were found in a layer of earth. Archaeologists determined that the monument and the city were built between 10,000 and 12,000 years ago. This is contradictory to the previous public release by the Iranian authorities, stating that the ruins were 850 years old. Well, obviously, that's a lie, but we know the truth now. Of the 3 sarcophagi found in the mausoleum, substantial information is only available on 2 of them, while little is known about the 3rd. Not about its content or who is inside, the only information available is based on mere assumptions and not facts. 2 coffins with substantial information seem to be in the state of suspended animation. One wore a crown, which implies that he was probably the ruler of the city. He was buried alongside his sorcerer, leaving scientists to conclude that the 3rd sarcophagus must contain his wife. One would expect to find some additional treasures to be buried alongside such an important figure. There are gold coins placed in the eyes of the king, which indicates a well-attested habit of antiquity. It can be observed that the body has Caucasian features but with copper skin, and the second individual sarcophagus shares the same characteristics. The king and the alleged sorcerer were adorned with gold and precious stones, which is expected of someone with such a high social status. The ornaments found on the second sarcophagus carry a cuneiform script that is not identifiable but can be translated. The script tells the name of the second man found in the second sarcophagus and his profession. The royal sarcophagus, on the other hand, seems to be clothed in what seems to be gold or metal, and near the monarch, a gold casket can be seen encrusted with strange gems similar to those found adorning a king. The newly discovered ancient tomb housing a giant king is enough to rewrite history and change everything we know about our ancient past and the technology we thought was used back then. We are talking about a Nephilim king who was perfectly preserved and remains intact, only to be awakened when he was discovered. The eyes are still looking up with a glass-like appearance to them, the body is in good shape, and the colored lights around the top of the sarcophagus are on. Archaeologists dated this discovery to have been in existence about 12,000 years ago, and evidence gathered by scientists suggests that this king was kept biologically alive all through that period. Indeed, this speaks volumes about ancient civilization. Some scientists believe in certain theories revolving around ancient civilization, and a prominent figure in that field is Graham Hancock. Hancock is an audacious self-taught scientist who believes that long before ancient Babylonia, Mesopotamia, and Egypt, there existed even more glorious civilizations, one so thoroughly wiped out about 12,000 years ago that nearly all evidence of its existence has vanished, leaving only the faintest of traces. Hancock speculates that an advanced Ice Age civilization was destroyed in a cataclysm, but the survivors passed down their knowledge, giving rise to the earliest known civilizations. He argues that no matter how devastating an impact might be, we are to believe that ancient civilization does not exist because all evidence that speaks to its existence is almost erased. This is inconceivable in Graham's words. This new discovery is a testament to Hancock's belief. Who are the Nephilim? I'm sure this question has been ringing deep down somewhere in your mind. But in order to feed this curiosity, we need to take a look at their origin to get the full picture of how these beings came into existence. According to the Hebrew Bible, the Nephilim are a group of mysterious beings or people of unusually large size and strength who lived before and after the flood. The Hebrew word Nephilim is sometimes translated as giants and sometimes taken to mean fallen ones, but the identity of Nephilim is debated by scholars. Several interpretations have been given to the account of Nephilim. Some believe that the Nephilim are the offspring produced between the fallen ones and human women. This view was described in the first book of Enoch, a non-canonical Jewish text, and remains one of the most valid and popular explanations. The first book of Enoch also notes that the Nephilim were giants, which seems to be in correlation to the people of great size described in the Numbers passage of the Bible. The apparent giantism of Nephilim is believed to have stemmed from their supernatural origin, although some people have countered that it is absurd to suggest that angels or demons who are purely spirit beings could physically reproduce with humans. A less supernatural view holds that Nephilim were simply men who fell away from righteousness. Specifically, some theologians have held the opinion that the sons of God are a reference to the descendants of Seth, the righteous son of Adam, and that the Nephilim were members of his bloodline who rejected God. This view is referred to as the Sethian view, which is sometimes elaborated with the assertion that the daughters of men were the ungodly women of the bloodline of Cain. Most people know him as Adam's murderous son. While the Nephilim are mere humans, their great size is variously taken literally or metaphorically, though they were undoubtedly considered great warriors. An infamous quote about giants from the Bible is in the 13th chapter of Numbers, particularly verse 33. The Israelites gave an account of their knowledge about giants, but what if the first humans were giants? The Sumerians were one of the first recorded civilizations that wrote that their knowledge came from celestial beings, beings that came from the heavens, creatures called the Anunnaki. This knowledge included concepts of law, policies, writing, and complex buildings. The Sumerians were the first race to do many things, and there is evidence of a lot of change and innovative thought for one society to miraculously discover. Perhaps that it was the Anunnaki that gave them this knowledge. The Anunnaki has identical stories of watchers. Watchers, who are religiously known as angels, came to watch over the earth. They saw women, and as a result of their beauty, the Anunnaki took them as wives. The output of this unlikely relationship led to the creation of Nephilim, a race of giants. This particular race was so destructive to the point that some believe they were the reason for the Great Flood. The apocryphal book of Baruch specifically says that the Great Flood wiped out over 400,000 giants. The notion of giants roaming the earth can be found in cultures worldwide. Greek mythology tells us stories of giants, describing them as flesh and blood creatures who lived and died and whose blood can be found coming out of the ground where they were buried long ago. Today, large numbers of human-like bones can be found all over the world. Modern scientists take such bones to be remains of mammoth, mastodons, or even rhinoceros that once lived in the region. But ancient Greeks were unfamiliar with these massive animals, and many believe that the enormous bones were the remains of human-like giants. According to Greek myth, giants were the children of Uranus of the sky and Gaia of the earth, but they were almost never born. Uranus, being afraid that the giants would be too powerful, would not allow them to be born. Thus, he imprisoned them in Gaia's womb. Due to the feeling of discomfort and injustice, Gaia convinced her older son, Cronus, to attack Uranus, which he did. The blood that spilled on Gaia from the attack released the giants from their prison, and Cronus took power, but was soon overthrown by Zeus. The giants, enraged by defeat of their savior and brother, waged war against Zeus and the other Greek gods in an epic battle. They took up trees as clubs and boulders as missiles. The battle resulted in huge losses for both parties, but ultimately the giants were defeated and buried under mountains, and their tormented shivers were said to be the cause of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Just like many cultures in ancient livelihood, mythologies are produced to explain the world around them. It is almost impossible to talk about giants without making mention of the legendary epic Gilgamesh. The Epic of Gilgamesh is one such mythology. Several versions of the epic poem exist, but the 12-tablet Akkadian version is the best known. The story centers on the friendship between the principal characters, Gilgamesh and Enkidu. Gilgamesh, who is the king of Uruk, is 2/3 god and 1/3 man. According to legends, Gilgamesh oppressed the people of Uruk, so the gods created Enkidu as means to distract him. Well, the plan worked, and Gilgamesh grew fond of Enkidu, and they both became very close friends. Their unlikely friendship resulted in a journey of fantastical adventures, which unfortunately led to the death of Enkidu. Gilgamesh, devastated by the death of his close friend, went on a quest in search of immortality. Unfortunately, he did not succeed, and the encounters during the quest led to his death. The god who appear in the Epic of Gilgamesh are the Anunnaki, a name that probably means those of royal blood or prince offspring according to the ancient Sumerian language. In contrast to this pagan mythology, we have the biblical account of Nephilim. Biblically speaking, Nephilim were the descendants of the sons of God and daughters of men, particularly in chapter 6 of the book of Genesis. While there are different interpretations of this verse of the Bible, some individuals believe it involves the fallen angels who are referred to as the sons of God, taking on human form and mating with the daughter of men, thereby producing a race of angelic human half-breeds. So you might be wondering, is there a connection between the Anunnaki and the Nephilim? Perhaps it's interesting to note that both the biblical flood account and the epic Gilgamesh mention supernatural godlike beings interacting with humanity in connection to the global flood. Hence, the myths regarding the Anunnaki may originate in the reality that was the Nephilim. The existence of giants has only been seen in fairy tale stories, but in recent archaeological findings are telling us that might not be the case and that giants might truly exist and might be part of the world's most ancient human civilization. This is a big story that has many layers to it. Are these beings who lived before the Great Flood and linked with people directly related to the development of human civilization? What part of the video did you find fascinating? The 12,000-year-old king that has been kept artificially alive in a tomb within a sarcophagus? Evidence to Graham Hancock's theories? The mystery behind the origin of the Nephilim and Anunnaki? The Greek mythology about giants, or the correlation between the epic Gilgamesh and the Bible? Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.